And welcome to round 2 coverage of the Ledgestone Insurance Open presented by Discraft. I am the bottom Nate of Nate Squared, and that is 3-time world champion Nate Doss.
Hey guys.
Excited for this round. I would just say that Lake Eureka bit back a little bit this round, Nate.
Absolutely. I was out there yesterday. It was one of those just uneasy days. Definitely, the wind was howling. Looking at this picture, you couldn't imagine the wind blowing, but it was definitely...
That looks easy right there.
Yeah, it was definitely blowing, and it was just a strange... It wasn't the strongest wind you're ever going to see, but it was definitely just enough to affect really every aspect of the round.
Joshua Anthon.
Even right here, it doesn't look that bad, but it was very windy.
It really was. I mean, you're standing on this tee. Josh is thinking, all right, just make sure to turn it over, get it over that hill, and he's done that perfectly. It's interesting talking to a lot of people. They've been mentioning, wow, you guys have a lot of water carries, but this certainly looks like a long way. But if you throw the right shot, it seems like you easily get over. It's just not as difficult as it might look, but it, of course, could become difficult if you just don't throw the right shot.
And that looks like just a perfect drive.
Yeah, I mean, really, you're trying to get down into that low area, so you have a nice flat, run up, and just a nice look at the hill. You can end up on the side of the hill. We saw Nico yesterday land actually up on the flat somehow, and he was able to get his birdie. So there's a lot of ways to get it here, for sure.
And that's a more aggressive line than even Paul or Josh took, and that is, he's inside the yellow stake there, which is 250. He probably has 200 feet to the basket.
Yeah, that's, I can guarantee you Ricky wasn't trying to do that, but he got a little fortunate there, and that's what you need. When you have these wind rounds, you need a little bit of that, the grass caught you in the right place. So we'll see how much of that happens today. Gregg's really got this one turned over, but it's a stable disc, which means that it's working its way back against the wind. It looks like he ended up inbounds. I know there's a little corner of out of bounds down there, but
I think he almost hit Paul
he's
Oman
inbounds.
there, but he is inbounds, yeah.
We have a good crowd here this day. Everybody was excited. A lot of the AMs playing early in the day, coming out and watching. A lot of the locals from here in Peoria. Josh was a little bit unstable there, but it looks like he followed through on that just fine. That's almost a guarantee for Josh from that distance.
Both of those shots were almost parked.
Yeah. Gregg's was great. Here comes Paul inside the circle. The wind, these bushes on the right here really do protect this green quite a bit. So it's, if you can get it inside the circle, it's definitely a makeable putt.
And Ricky just has probably a putter here, Overstable putter. And really, that wasn't his best effort, but he was protecting from going in the water there.
Yeah, I mean, it actually looked like he threw almost a sharp edge driver or maybe a mid-range, but there you go. That's right there, folks. That's Ricky Wysocki in a nutshell. I'm sure you've been watching him for years now. Put it outside the circle, make the putt.
Nice birdie there by Paul. That's 2 for 2.
Yeah, we're halfway to a star frame here. I'm imagining it's almost a formality at this point. And that pretty much does it. I think the other one's nearly parked. So, yep, there's Barsby.
I'm not sure I have the ability to look it up fast, but that was a star frame on one of the harder holes on the course today. That's very impressive.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And we're coming up on hole 2 here, and I got to tell you, I played this hole obviously yesterday as well. Insanely difficult. It is a direct headwind with and it's looking like it is the most difficult hole in the course, and I'm not surprised with nearly a five throw average on this hole.
With the wind yesterday, it played as the hardest hole in the course. The day before it didn't, but with the wind in your face, very challenging birdie. And that's just a little too high for Josh, but he got a little California sneaky love there. that was sneak through the pine trees.
Yeah, I can pretty much tell you with almost complete 100% assurancy that these guys are just trying to get it inbounds. Everybody's playing this hole for a par. Everybody is playing this hole for a par. I'd be very surprised to see a birdie. Very, very surprised.
There actually were only 6 birdies in the round, so very rare. And Ricky, that is super aggressive.
Boy, I got to tell you, I am blown away with that play from the conditions that we went in. But, you know, got to hand it to Ricky. He trusts his disc there, and he threw a great shot.
I mean, on the video, it doesn't look that windy, but if you see the trees up high, it is very windy, and you know that's incredible. In that wind, that's a 425-foot sidearm. He has a chip shot left
into a headwind. I mean, amazing.
He must have thrown something very overstable, and Paul just catches a little cabbage there, and that may have snuck out of bounds actually.
Yeah, it's if it is inbounds, it wasn't by much. Here's Josh. This is just a tough shot, folks. I'm telling you, you're looking at a basket that's right near the water. OB on the right. It was a headwind. Josh is in fine position to get his par. He'll have a little bit of work left there, but he can get it. Now you can really see in this view how windy it is. That's got to get down. Oh, perfect.
It's got to get down under the basket
yeah.
there, Ricky.
Nice.
Jeez.
Making it look like there's no wind on this hole.
And see, I like this play here. Throwing sidearm, it's away from the water. Wow, that's incredible. That looked like a mid-range because that had the skip of a mid-range. That was impressive.
We don't know if Paul was out of bounds there, but left himself a circle's edge putt there. It's possible he'll make that, but it's a difficult position to be in.
I can't imagine Josh is running this. That's just almost a death putt from 60 feet into a headwind with water behind the basket. Just a little left there.
Yep. Uli's not going to be happy with that. He's just... Oh.
Wow. That's,
okay.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, folks, this happens a lot out there in the world. Spit outs do happen. That it's just unfortunate whenever you see it happen. You would never ever want to see your competitor have that happen to him, nor yourself. So we all feel bad for Gregg. And actually, Gregg had one of those in Europe in the second round. He had a very short miss that was just unfortunate. And you just kind of pat the guys on the back. So Paul was not out of bounds off his second shot, and he just ended up with a bogey 5.
Actually, he was out of bounds. He threw his second shot OB, so he was throwing... Oh, he wasn't. You're right. Okay. Hole 3, Nate. Tell us about this one.
Yeah, we've talked about this one before. This is just, the fairway is there for you. Avoid the trees, but really anything in bounds on this hole is just fine. There's a lot of opportunity to kick out of bounds. This was a little bit of a reprieve from the wind. It was a good, oh boy.
And I was just going to say that sidearm is definitely there. I think it's a great route, but that's the second straight time that Ricky has not hit that line.
Nate, I don't like that route at all. I actually, a guy in my group threw it as well, hit that tree. That's a great shot by Josh. He got through the trees on the right, but there's a lot of trees here, so there's a lot of gaps to hit.
And Ricky's going to be way back. That's going to be a tough up and down for a 4. And Gregg just showed how to do the sidearm.
The reason you like it.
Yes, he's going to be. That's why I like it. But the reason I don't is because Ricky, he's going to have a tough up and down for a 4.
Yeah, if you're going to hit that shot, the most important thing is to get through that first gap. And Paul's actually taking a sidearm, but up the middle. Seemed to be protecting against any major issues there.
And you can see here, he's throwing through a wall of pine trees, and he's probably not even in the circle. So that's a very risky line. Maybe I don't like as much as I thought I did. So
well, we saw it with Gregg. If you get through, you get up there. See what Ricky can do here. Okay, he's locked in, guys. I mean, this is going to be something we might see all day long. Ricky making long putts. He didn't make too many yesterday, actually. We watched him play yesterday, and today he's on point. Gregg picks up his birdie. Nice birdie, Gregg.
Did you have any doubt that Ricky wasn't going to make that putt, though? I mean, he wasn't going to make a 5 on a par 3, was he? On an easy par 3?
Probably not. There's certainly an added level of energy when you're putting for 4 on a par 3. So yeah, it was probably 9 times out of 10 that one was going in the heart.
A par 3 that's 260 feet.
I want to mention to everybody on the video while we got a little second here that it was cold. It was actually pretty cold out there yesterday, and that's why everybody's wearing jackets.
Lifetime warranty, and 1% back to the planet. Tempercraft USA. Temper your thirst.
Speaking of cold, Nate, I'm still actually shivering from my time in the dunk tank last night. People wanted to dunk me so badly for some reason. Anyways, hole 4. Tell us about it, Nate.
Hole 4, really just a great hole. Blind off the tee, throwing. You can either throw a hyzer flip up on the right side or throw more of a straight shot going down the middle. I prefer the straight shot. It avoids that right side. We saw Ricky go out of bounds here yesterday, and let's see what these guys are going to do here. Josh won't be happy with that one. I mean, he's only 150 feet off the tee there. Going to be a tough up shot.
Just didn't quite get it high enough.
Yeah, I mean, the goal here is to get down over the edge, over the hill there. Gregg took an air bounce.
I think he took a branch bounce.
Or a branch bounce, yeah. I mean, it was definitely a weird flight, but he's off in the left. And really the left is the bailout area. It's pretty light over there. There's a lot of gaps, pretty makeable up and downs. I
like this route with the Anheuser. The problem is that's going to be out of bounds. It's just, you got to make sure you don't turn it too much. That's way out of bounds. I mean, it's a good line. It's just, it's tough to get it to come back sometimes.
Yeah, I got to tell you, out of his hand, I did not like the look of that shot. It's going downhill with that much turn. It just doesn't make sense. This looks like more like the play. Hyzer flipping to straight with a little bit of a baby turn. And he might have a putt out of there. There are some makeable putts out of there. And he'll be looking at birdie there. Here comes Josh. This is a touchy upshot. He's left.
But once again, he's probably in the circle there, obstructed. I mean, he's close to the circle. He's got a putt.
Definitely.
I did see a couple of forehand rollers off the tee today on this hole as well. That's a line that will come back to the basket at least when it's rolling. Not something I can do. That's a good shot there.
Definitely. He's just trying to lay it up there, get his bogey. Like I said, it's pretty thin there on the left. Gregg had a, little straddle, something or other, but he got it up to the pin. Easy par.
And yeah, as you saw, Ricky probably circles edge there. Just great putt right on the right low side and just sneaking it over the basket.
This is when Ricky is dangerous. He's locked in today, folks, just like I said on the last hole.
Good.
Oh,
wow.
High left. I wouldn't call that a spit out. That was high left, but good effort by Josh. Knowing Josh, he won't be happy about that, but it is what it is, I guess.
When you say Ricky is dangerous, I would say he's dangerous inside 100 feet with a putter.
Some days are better than others.
Sure.
I mean, yesterday he did not putt well. You could tell he was frustrated at this point. This same point through the round yesterday. Today he's 2 under, and he's feeling it. And he's 2 under with a bogey. So he's birdied 3 and bogeyed 1.
Hole 5 played really challenging. It played the exact opposite of yesterday in terms of scoring. It played as one of the hardest holes in the course. The wind was left to right. yesterday. Today it was not that fortunate, so it played as the 4th most difficult hole. It played almost a stroke over par.
Yeah, let's see how these guys attack this hole. I mean, I know you're mentioning the wind. As a player, I don't think the wind was as difficult as it might have seemed. Ricky, that is pulled to the right and out of bounds. And that's, I'm a little bit surprised at that. We'll see how he makes an adjustment from the drop zone.
And Gregg's trying to go 2 for 2 with the ace after his beautiful ace the first day. Not quite an ace, but he's safe in bounds.
Yeah, I remember playing this hole yesterday, and I threw one that wasn't where I wanted it to be, but it landed in bounds. I said in bounds is good. This is a hole you just, if you're gonna birdie it, that's great, but if not, you just want to end up in bounds. Josh has pulled that too as well, but it's a little bit higher, maybe not as much juice. Wow, surprising.
Once again, I think without the right to left wind they had yesterday, either they didn't adjust properly or the wind is just challenging out there.
Absolutely. I like this shot. I like this shot a lot. This is going to be in that back corner.
It's going to be in the back part of the wall.
Yeah.
It was the wall saved him there actually. So.
Did he hit the wall? Yeah.
Yep, I was actually standing right there. So.
Okay. Wow.
And this is not an easy drop zone shot. This is 375 feet with out of bounds both sides. I mean, that's a good shot from there for Ricky.
As most of you watching out there can imagine, you're standing on this tee thinking, wow, I just don't want to make another mistake. But these guys are thinking, I want to get right up to the pin. And so they're going for the pin there. Both of them took aggressive lines. Josh got right to the edge of the circle.
And the problem with going too aggressive, if you get it over the baseball diamond and you don't cross, you are rethrowing basically.
Yeah, basically you are, because you're not going to take it from the edge of the fence. It's going to be very difficult. Uli gives a little run, but at this point they just want to end up close.
That was probably a half run for both Gregg and Paul.
That's going to be a double bogey for Ricky. We'll see what Josh can do here. Whoa.
Wow. I think his push putt there just got pushed up by the wind quite a bit there.
Yeah. I mean, that elevated basket, we talked about it yesterday. It's just a little bit of an added challenge. And the wind definitely got to Josh's putt. And he's got it there. 2 5s for those guys. They won't be happy about that. Certainly they've worked hard to get their birdies earlier in the round. And now they've given it all back. But that's this course in these conditions. It very quickly can change for you. I took a double bogey yesterday, and it hurts when you've worked so hard to keep your strokes.
So we've got a couple +1s, Ricky even for the round, and Gregg is 2 under, so really tight battle.
Yeah, absolutely. This is exactly what we're looking for, and this is what these wind conditions are going to bring for sure.
Hole 6 is just a beast. It just a super challenging par 4, played as the 2nd most difficult hole. We only saw 2 birdies for this round. This is, I would say, a hole that most players were just playing for par.
No doubt. Wind conditions on this hole were actually favorable, but I think it's hard for the players to stand on the tee. There was almost no wind at the tee. And it was just hard to make that adjustment to say, okay, the wind is actually sort of a cross tail, which would have been great. But I want to mention something that we just saw. I mean, Paul basically threw directly after Gregg. Ricky has lined up right after. This is the type of nervous play that disc golfers, that even high-level disc golfers have when it's windy. They want to make a decision. They want to be quick, and it's just you wouldn't see this in a normal day. If there was no wind, you wouldn't see the players just lining up one after another and throwing. But these guys just want to get it in bounds, and they don't want to second guess anything.
And you saw Josh there probably threw before the prior throw was even landed, just because the wind is also a little calmer in that moment as well.
Yeah, it's one thing I found myself doing yesterday, and I saw the other guys in my group doing these shots. we're just watching these guys play for position now. Everybody's going to be looking at a par. Saw Ricky be aggressive yesterday, being very safe today, throwing the sidearm. I think that's smart. But then again, the conditions, you can see that flag. It was a nice wind to actually go at the pin.
Speaking of going for the pin, kind of, maybe not.
Let's see. All right.
I think he was giving it a half run to the pin. I think if he got it up a little higher, it could have glided.
Absolutely.
I did watch Macbeth go for the pin, and he was about 60 short in the woods out of bounds. He did take a 5.
Okay. Oh, that's not a great shot from Paul. He's going to be upset with himself, I'm sure.
And that's almost the downside of laying up is if you mess up the layup shot, then you're kicking yourself for saying, well, I should have just gone for it. And then I'm down by the basket maybe.
And I would say it's the genius of the design. I think you're putting players in a position to where they have to make really tough up shots. And you just have to stand there and be confident. I think it goes back to that nervous feeling that I was talking about in the very beginning. There's just a nervousness when the wind is blowing like this, that you just want to get that disc in the basket and get it close. And sometimes that can lead you to not throwing exactly what you would expect.
That's a good putt by Paul.
Yeah, good for Paul. He needs to stay positive here, realize that he's playing well. He's in the lead card. It's just the wind is going to make things unsettling. Ricky, nice par.
In that win, a par probably felt like a birdie today.
I think so. You know, for me, every par on this hole feels like a birdie because I'm not playing it for a 3, I'm playing it for a 4. So, you know, it's about as good as you could do. We're seeing some struggling going on here, but you know, good for Gregg. He's hanging in there. He's the only one under par.
And there you are again, spinning that disc. Thanks to Discraft, they are so supportive of this event. Hole 7, this is as close to a must get as you can get. It played as the easiest hole in the course today with basically 62% of the field birding this hole. So you step up here and you want to birdie it.
Nearly a direct tailwind. Tough to tell the direction of the wind. It was nearly a direct tailwind. Very easy hole to play today. You standing on this tee, you want to get a 2 and move on to the next hole. And we'll see if all these guys can do it. Here's
that was a gorgeous hyzer flip, maybe a mid-range sidearm. That's impressive.
Yeah, you know, it's surprising to me, but I think these guys could easily just be throwing backhands here. But they feel comfortable with it, and that's the most important thing on any shot, is that you feel comfortable and confident.
I think whatever you are confident in, throw that shot. I mean, I think with Ricky, we know he has a good sidearm. Gregg, we know he has a good sidearm. Josh, we know he has a great backhand. And that is, these guys are making this look easy. I've seen plenty of shots bounce off those trees, out of bounds. They're making it look easy. And we see Paul. I mean, 3 sidearms here. Same with hole 3. We saw 3 sidearms. And 3 really good sidearms and a great backhand. So that's the lead card right there, Nate.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 62% birdies on that hole. Not surprising. We should, you know, Paul's not happy. You can tell. I mean, this is the frustration. Paul is not frustrated with his game necessarily. He's frustrated with trying to make the adjustments to the wind. And that is something that is just so difficult to do. Especially we did not practice in the wind. And that's one thing that I think makes this even more difficult. Had it been windy during practice and calm during the tournament, we'd be seeing low scores. But it's the other way around, and we're seeing some challenges.
No, I have control over the wind, so I didn't like how how good the scores were the first round, so I dialed it back. So I would look for Paul to step up here the next few holes. I think he's close. He's been really close. I think he's gonna turn it around. Well,
we're coming into the stretch here. Once we get past hole 8, see how these guys do on hole 8. Holes 9 through 12 are ones that everybody can try to take advantage of. Of course, the looming water tower is coming, but we'll see how these guys do in this next 5-hole stretch. This is a very important part of the course.
And this hole played to a really strong right to left crosswind, which actually helps the drive just to get it, you know, to the right side of to the left side of the fairway. There were actually 8 birdies on this hole today. This hole, there are birdies available on this hole. A lot of pars here, though. This is a very popular hole to par, almost 60%.
And again, I'm playing this hole for par. You know, so to me a par is a birdie, which is, again, it's great design. We should be happy with pars as players, and on these holes, these guys will all be very happy with pars. I promise you that.
And you can once again see how fast these guys are not wasting any time, and that's good. They don't need to think about the shot. They're only playing one course. They're practicing one course. They know they're going to throw something overstable and fast and get it in the air. And Paul's, that's actually a fantastic angle to the basket, so you want to be on the left side if you can. And you can see the gallery there. We had great gallery out here today. We're just great support from Peoria.
And even though it was a little bit chilly and a bit breezy, the crowds were out and enjoying, you know, what these guys have to offer. And, you know, that's really great to see here in Peoria. So it's great to see everywhere. We love our crowds, and they love watching us play.
And Eureka's been so supportive. You know, this is the Peoria area, and Josh looks like he is just in bounds in the mud there. Wow.
Yeah, we'll see if he's got any footing or anything. He might be able to save his par. It would be very fortunate, just like Ricky on hole 1.
And Paul's definitely going for it here, just like Ricky did, and that's not the best roll away there. He'll be in bounds. No really chance for a birdie, though.
No. This is, if you're going to go at the basket, this is the way to do it. I think a sidearm is definitely ideal. He hit the stump. You know, even guys, that was really low. I don't think it would have got to the pin anyways. So,
in fact, it may have skipped in the water.
It's possible.
It's possible.
It's
the grass
possible.
is grabby. But that was the right play. If you, as you said, if you want to get there, a sidearm, a backhand is, I would say it's not impossible, but it's really challenging.
To give you a little bit of a perspective of how close this basket is to the water, you can see there it's very close. I actually hit the basket on my upshot and kicked in the water on this hole. So it's very, very close, and that's a steep little incline. So these guys are doing good. We're going to see 4 pars here. And again, I would almost consider that 4 birdies, even though this is a par 4. These guys are all just fine with where they are.
Good putt by Josh. I think Ricky's upset there because he was going for that green with his sidearm. He was way back there, but he hit the left stuff. I think he wanted a birdie there.
Yeah, absolutely. But at the end of the day, you're okay. You know out of bounds on that hole. Everybody's happy. We come up here to the bridge hole. Again, signature hole. Definitely one of the more difficult holes. But just so you know, the wind on this hole was actually very ideal, and I think we're gonna see, I would guess, at least 2 birdies here, if not 3. That's just a guess from me. Let's see what happens. That is beautiful.
This hole played a lot easier than it did the first round, actually. It was actually the 4th easiest hole for that round. 38% of the field birdied it, so that's, in years past, the bridge hole has been one of the hardest holes, and today, the wind was very favorable. I mean, these guys are tracking the basket.
Yeah, and as I said, that's why I made that prediction of 2, 3. I mean, we might even see a star frame here but I can only tell you that I believe that because of the wind. The wind was really nice. It was a little bit of a baby crosswind, but it just really wasn't blowing in this area. Josh just outside the circle there. Still be running that for birdie. But I think it all has to come down to wind. These guys don't have to think too much. Just put it on an angle. Ride that wind out there. Uli's, that looks a little wind blown, but oh, beautiful inside the circle.
Great. Those are 4 great drives.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, all shots in bounds on this hole are good. Ooh.
Little jump putt there, just left side low for Josh.
Now we'll see if these guys can help me come true on my prediction of. Oh, let's see. We got 2 more putts. We'll see if they can make them. I was saying 2, maybe 3, but let's see if we can get 2 of them at least. There's 1.
Ricky's not going to let you down, is he,
Ricky,
Nate?
he better not. He's made so many putts against me. He better make this one. I would imagine here's my prediction of 2 birdies, and there it is. It's not surprising. The wind was easy. Playing easy on this hole. So, good hole for the guys. Ulibarri really needed that birdie. It's good to see him get that. Hopefully that will get him jump started on this little run of 4 potential birdies.
So that was the front 9 of round 2 with our lead card of the 2017 Ledgestone Insurance Open. As you said, we are getting into the stretch here of the, I would say, the must-get birdie holes. Excited to see how they play those holes in the back 9, Nate.
Absolutely. Yeah, these guys have, I wouldn't say they're putting on a show, but it's been entertaining, and I'm looking forward to the back 9.